Welcome to Joffy Noodle Legs and the Horror House.
Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to a late night horror review. Tonight we've got the master Dario Argento, and we're looking at his film Inferno, which is the second in the Three Mothers trilogy. Obviously the first one is Suspiria, then Inferno, and the second one, Mother of Tears, hasn't got a release here in the UK, so we can't really talk about that. But what we can talk about is the special features on this disc. So this is the awesome main menu to Inferno. Doesn't that look amazing? It's so cool. So let's have a look at the special features that are on this film. Dario Inferno. Acting in Hot Water, an interview with Dario Nicolodi, The Other Mother, the making the Black Cat, Inferno, question and answers. And that is the special features, I believe. Is that it? I'm sure there was more, but no, that must be it. So that is the special features on Inferno. So again, Arrow do have a number of special features on this disc, which is always cool. And also a special feature of this edition is the booklet. We have the limited booklet that comes with the film. So let's get on to the story. So this film is based on a brother and sister called Mark and Rose. Mark is living in Rome and Rose is living in New York. And Rose discovers this book. Rose is played by Irene Miracle and Mark is played by Lee McCloskey. Rose has found this old book, this ancient book called The Three Mothers. And it is written by a witch or alchemist, whichever you want to call it. And it explains them about this sort of three keys that she's looking for. And she visits like a local what's the word I'm looking for? Antique shop, which is quite close to where she's living, and very close, it's next door. And you will see her block of flats where she lives. It's like Suspiria. All the decorations in there are red and black, sort of Art Deco, just like the Suspiria. Anyway, she visits this antique shop and speaks to the guy who works there because he sold her this book. Anyway, he tells her that it's written by like witches and stuff like this. But what she doesn't realise that the witches actually live within that old flat where she lived. And one of the keys is apparently in the basement of this apartment. So she goes through a grate in the actual street. There's a grate, and she opens it. There's all cats hanging around there. And she goes down the grate and she starts looking around and searching around. And she comes across this room. And in this room is like an alchemist. And she starts asking him about this book. And he sees it and he attacks her. But she manages to escape and get out. And she writes a letter to Mark. And we then join Mark in Rome, where he's taking music lessons. He's like a music student with his friend. I'm sure his friend's name is Sarah, played by Eleonora Georgi, and he's in this class, and it's a strange, bizarre thing. There's a woman there with a cat again, and she turns around and she's really beautiful and stuff like this. And he's sort of like mesmerized what's going on with this music, and he thinks he's seeing visions and hearing her whisper stuff. Anyway, she leaves and he sort of follows her, and Sarah finds the letter that's from his sister, and she decides she reads it, and tells them about the book, The Three Women. So she goes, instead of going where she's going to go, she goes to this library. And again, there she gets attacked at this library by this guy who tries to put her head through this. She finds this room with loads of these cold rooms of boiling sort of fluid. He tries to put her head in it, but she manages to escape and sort of get away. And then she heads up to where she lives in Rome. But unfortunately, she comes to her end because she gets followed and she gets killed in a very gruesome, horrible way. When she gets to her flat, she's a bit scared, and she sees this guy outside called Carlo, played by Gabriele Lavia, and she asks him to join her, and he joins her into the flat, and they both get killed by our killer, who's wearing black gloves, a bit like a giallo. This isn't a giallo; it's more of a supernatural witchcraft sort of film, like Suspiria. And they both get killed. And Mark turns up at the flat looking for her, and he sort of discovers all this sort of evidence about stuff that's going on. And in this curtain door rips, and Sarah falls through dead. So Mark, he pieces together, because the letter's there, and he pieces it together, and then he steams off to New York looking for his sister Rose. And when he first gets there, he meets a woman called Carol, played by Alida Valley, who's a friend of Rose, and she can't find her either, and they can't find Rose or anything like this. Rose gets killed by our killer, so does Carol. So all these women are getting bumped off, and it's all to do with these books, and these books go missing. Our antique dealer's got 3 copies in his shop, and they all go missing, and he gets killed, and they all get killed in very bizarre and horrible ways. And we see a woman there. I'm sure she's playing the same character as she does in Suspiria. I'm not sure, but it's definitely the same woman, and she's in it. I'm trying to remember her name. I can't really remember it. It might be Valeria. I'm not sure, but anyway, we see her, and she's got like another friend who's also sort of like, they're all involved around this witchcraft thing, a bit like Suspiria. You know, they all know what's going on, apart from our poor people that have nothing to do with it. But as the story sort of moves on, it sort of unfolds, and it's a very to a very sort of climatic ending to the film, which I'm not going to tell you, so I don't want to spoil it. So let's have a little talk about the characters. So our main 2 characters are Rose and Mark, as I said, the brother and sister. Yeah, and they play the part really well. It's really, really well acted. There's some really beautiful women in this film. I mean, especially the student. I think her name's Ania Peroni. I'm sure it is, and she's got this cat, and she's really stunning looking. But yeah, our main 2 characters that are played by what are their names again? I just said it a few minutes ago. They've got a bit of a strange name: Irene Miracle and Lee McCloskey. They're our main characters. They play the part really well, and so does Sarah. I mean, but unfortunately, Sarah's not in it very, very long. She gets bumped off. She's played by Eleonora Gigura, and we've got Elise, played by Dario Nicolodi, and we've got Carol played by Adela Valley, and they're all really cool. They play the roles really cool. And then I'm not going to tell you any more of the story because I want you to sort of suss it out. But let's go to the final verdict. This is another sort of masterpiece by Argento. It's a 9 out of 10. I'll score it a 9 out of 10. It loses a little point just because the story is a little bit out there and a little bit everywhere, and it can be a little bit confusing if you're not paying attention. It does command your attention, and it runs for 1 hour 46 minutes, so it's quite a long time to keep your attention into it. But I found Suspiria about like that. Suspiria needed a few watches again for me to really get grasp to that, and this is similar. And it's just like thinking, who's this? What's going on? What's this sort of character? And you think, oh, okay. And it does sort of unfold as the film goes on. And we're just thinking, who are these alchemists, and what is this got to do with this book? I mean, because the book's not really too much explained in Suspiria; it's more in this one. But it can be quite jarring, first of all, because the story is quite difficult to follow. It is a little bit everywhere. Like I said, it's filmed in Rome and in New York and stuff like this, and you just don't think, well, what's going on? But as the story unfolds, it falls into place, a lot like Suspiria. It's wonderful. It's an absolute masterpiece. And one of the best things about this film, major plus to this film, is the music. We've got some proper traditional classic Italian music from Verdi and stuff in the film, which is incredible. I love classical music. I really do, especially Italian opera and things like that. And this has some wonderful music in the film. The stage sets are incredible. They're impeccable. It's so artistically filmed and beautifully shot. It's incredible. Like I said, it's very similar to Suspiria. The inside of the apartments and hotel, or whatever it is, that where Rose lives, it's all red and white Art Deco, just like red and black, just like Suspiria. It's very artistically shot, and it's got some amazing shots outside in the rain, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. And there's a very strange sequence where Rose drops her, I'm sure it's Rose, drops her pendant in this little water thing in the basement of this building, and she goes into the water for ages and like looking around like normal without having to come up for air. And it's very, very strange, but it's very well shot, absolutely amazingly shot. And these scenes alone make you want to watch it. It's almost nightmarish, because you're thinking, well, what is going on? But when you just get engrossed in that scene, you just think, wow, that was amazing. That was so cool. And the underwater scene was so cool in this film. She finally gets her necklace back, but then she comes across these dead bodies that are floating in this water. But it's like a whole room in this little hole in the basement of a cellar, which she goes into underwater. It's so cool and so dreamlike and nightmarish. It's wonderful. Absolutely loved it, and I'm so glad I picked this up. This was a little bit of a holy grail for me because it's been out of print for a while, and I'm so glad to have picked it up down the road here in the town near me. So I'm so glad to get this film. Inferno, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below. It's right up there with Suspiria. They do go hand in hand. It is a sequel to Suspiria, and it's such a lovely, wonderful film. Argento is the absolute master of horror and imagery. It's absolutely wonderful, and I really recommend you checking it out. Guys, check out some other channels from me. Check out Horror Hands, the Horror Geek. Man v Film, RS Design, Pizzawell. I'm Icelord, Cat watches horror movies, Grumpy Andrew's Horror House, and The Maniac. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope that I'll see you all soon.